weeks ago, I received an email from one of my subscribers here on YouTube, and she was asking me a lot of questions about acquiring her first property and also being approved because she is a freelancer. So she's actually a 22-year-old freelancer, and she's wondering if she can be approved of a bank loan, and she had also a lot of questions about buying her first property. So I'm going to be sharing her questions with you guys, and of course also answering them as well. So let's check those out. Question number 9. How many months does the developer provide in paying the equity? So how many months the equity will be required also depends on the length of time the developer can turn over a unit. So they will actually specify this already in their computation sheets. So let's say, for example, the target turnover is 4 years, so you can still expect a 48 months for you to pay for your equity. So that's still a long time. But if some developers will be turning it over in 3 years, then you can expect 36 months for your equity. So you can definitely ask the developer ahead of time how long the equity period would be. They will specify that in their computation sheets, so you don't need to have to worry about how quickly or how long you need to pay for your equity. Question number 10. For my situation, is it better to apply for BPI home loan as they now cover 30 years in their new My Bahay program, or should I apply for Pag-ibig instead? So first of all, congratulations for actually knowing that BPI has a My Bahay program. So for those who don't know this, BPI very recently launched a new home loan product wherein they will actually allow you to loan 90% of property's value, and they can also give you up to 30 years to pay. So the terms are very similar to Pag-ibig. So here she's asking if she should apply for Pag-ibig or if she should apply for BPI's My Bahay. So my suggestion is you can apply for both. Why not? So actually, if you apply to more than one bank or more than one financing institution, this will give you more choices because you can get to compare how much the rates will be, what will be the best term for you. There are also some banks who might give you a higher approval compared to other banks. So if you want, you can actually apply from more banks rather than just one. So this will also give you, again, more choices, and hopefully you can go with the bank that suits you best. Question number 11. Do I need to apply for a home loan after paying for the reservation right away, or do I only need to process it once the turnover is near? So you only need to apply for a home loan once the turnover date is near. So if the turnover date is still very far, like it's still 4 years away, so you don't need to worry yet about applying for the home loan. So you can actually do that maybe once you're in the 3rd year in, or when you're nearing the turnover date. Question number 12. How long does applying for a home loan take? So applying for a home loan shouldn't take that long. So it does depend on the developer, because there are some developers that prefer that you will submit your requirements to them and they will be the one to submit it to the banks. So it's best to really have your documents in order, so you can already give that ahead of time to the developers. There are also other developers that will just allow you to loan from any accredited bank that they have. So you will be the one to transact with their loan officers. So actually the loan process doesn't take very long. So it may be a month or so. But again, sometimes if you have to go through the developers because of the bulk processing, it's really best to have your requirements already at hand, perhaps 3 months prior to when you need it, just so you can already be approved when you need your loan approval. Question number 13. For this project, as I might wait from 4 years or so, how does paying the equity work? let's say I have to pay 500,000 in equity. Can I divide it into 48 months and will I only have to pay 10K monthly? So yes, that is correct. So if let's say your equity is at 500,000 and this is divided into 4 years, so that's 48 months, then yes, you will only be required to pay around 10,000 plus per month. But one thing that you do have to remember is that aside from the equity, the developers will also add on the miscellaneous fees. So these are some taxes that are involved. So this will be included in the computation. So some developers will add on the miscellaneous fees to the equity and then divide that into the 48 months. There are also some developers who will require you to pay the transfer fees or the miscellaneous fees only after the equity period has elapsed. So that will be paid in bulk. So that really depends on the developer as to what their payment scheme is. Just make sure to be aware that there are miscellaneous fees involved. Question number 14. Do you think it's wise for me to purchase pre-selling townhouses instead of a condo for my first property? So this really depends on your investment goal, because sometimes it depends on the location, right? So for example, if you're looking for a more affordable townhouse, but then the location of the townhouse is a bit farther away from the city, then you might also need to consider the rental market in that area. So another consideration with townhouse versus condo is that townhouses usually have longer term tenants. So the good thing about having longer term tenants is that you have the stability of the rental, but at the same time the rental rate would be lower in a way compared to condo where you can charge for a daily rate. So it really depends on that. But at the same time also, if the price of the condo is too high for you at this time, and the townhouse is a more affordable option for you and it's easier for you to be approved of a loan for a townhouse, then that might also be a wiser choice. So it really depends on your investment goals and also on the status of your employment and the status of your finances. So you have to weigh out certain pros and cons of whether you would like to buy a townhouse instead or a condo for your first real estate investment. Question number 15. If I only need to apply for a home loan once the turnover is near and I don't know my loanable amount yet, how will the equity be calculated? Alright, so again, the equity is already calculated by the developer. They already have that in their sample computations. However, one thing that you really need to be aware of is that sometimes they can state how much your loanable amount will be, and there are definitely times when a buyer is approved for a lower amount than what's stated on the computation sheet. So just for an example, let's say for example the loanable amount on the computation sheet is 3 million, but then the banks will only allow you to loan 2.5 million. So that means there's still a 500,000 peso difference, right? Which you need to cover. So that's also a consideration. So that's why it's good to calculate ahead of time how much you can loan based on your gross income. And if ever these things happen, you can always get a co-borrower. So you can have a family member who can be a co-borrower for you just to increase the loanable amount that you can have. So you can apply for, or you can be qualified for the loanable amount that was stated on the computation sheet by the developer. And for the last question, for my investment goals, I really don't need a house to live in for now, as I still enjoy living with my parents and I'm also tight on the budget. So if ever I'll be able to afford a townhouse, I actually want to find a tenant for it and hopefully generate some cash flow for the property someday. Do you think it will work for townhouses or will this strategy only work for condos? So I was able to answer this question a little bit early on. I was able to touch on this a bit. It is possible to find tenants for townhouses and not just for condos. But again, when it comes to townhouses or houses in general, these tenants are usually more for the long term. So they're usually in the 6 month to 1 year period. And the difference with that the difference for condos is that for condos, you usually have shorter term rentals wherein you can charge a daily rate. So the daily rate, of course, is considerably higher than a monthly rate. So you can really maximize the earning potential of your property. But at the same time, if you also don't have a lot of time to manage your unit and you prefer to have the stability of that monthly rental coming in every month without having to look for new tenants every day, so actually a townhouse would be a good option for you too. So there's really the considerations on both sides. For townhouses, you can still find tenants for sure, but this is more on the longer term, and at the same time you can also expect maybe a lower income margin because of, again, the stability, low risk, low return in a way. Condos would be a bit of a higher risk because you have to keep on looking for daily renters if you really want to maximize that income, but higher risk, higher return as well. So that's some of the considerations that you can have when you are choosing if you want to get a townhouse or a condo. And of course, at the same time, look into the total contract price. If a townhouse makes more sense for you financially because it's what you can afford, then that might also be the better option. So just consider those things as well. Question number 17. Okay, that depends on what your question will be. Please put it in the comment box below if you have another question about real estate or any property here in Cagayan de Oro. I hope to be able to answer you guys, and don't forget to hit on that like and subscribe button so you'll know when a new vlog is coming out. And of course, you can also follow us in other social media channels like TikTok or Facebook or Instagram. See you guys in the next video. Bye!